Okay, Coach. Thanks a lot. You want to just make a couple of brief remarks to start us off, and then we'll go to questions.
Yeah, I was thinking about, what a great way to retire would have been on Sunday. 50-point win, 15 threes, everyone's happy. Now, I really want to coach till I'm 75, and as a head coach at this level, and I hope I'm the head coach at Georgia Tech when I'm 75. And at 75, if during the season we have one of those games where we win by 50, everyone's happy, we make 15 threes, I might not finish the season. I might just come into the press conference and say, I'm retiring. But that's not for another 30 years down the road, guys. But I'm just giving you a heads up for 30 years down the road. If we have a game like that, that's the game you want to end out on. But anyway, that'll be. I didn't get a chuckle from you, Ken. You didn't like that or no? I'm messing with you.
I'm writing right now. I'm sorry. Keep going. It was funny. Yes. But you said it yesterday, the other day. So
I did. You're right. I did. Oh, you were on the ACC media.
I'm an old audience. Yeah.
You're right.
Wow. He's calling you out for reusing your material.
I want to be clear. That's 30 years down the road.
I'm not worried about that.
I was just really happy about the game on Sunday, to win like that. But anyway, no, look, Florida State's really good. And I do want to say on the game on Sunday, watching the tape, I mean, we did do a lot of good. And again, I said this 1,000 times. I know it wasn't Florida State, Miami, but we did a lot of good. And, anytime you're making those threes, and I think it was good for our guys. We had a really good practice yesterday with good energy. And did we lose you there? Flipping around.
Wait, no, hold on. That got a laugh out of Ken, by the way.
There you go. Okay. Let's put this on the Mac Pro here.
I'll just hold it.
Okay. Anyway, so
Go ahead.
okay, but anyway, we had we need another good practice day, and we'll go from there. And look, I think Florida State's really good. And basketball is such a fine line. And has anyone seen the movie Any Given Sunday? And any given Sunday, and where they talk about Al Pacino, and there's Jamie Foxx and Al Pacino in the movie. By the way, have you seen the movie The Heat? Have you ever seen the cast of the actors and actresses in that movie with De Niro, Pacino? I mean, it's unbelievable. Val Kilmer. I mean, that movie has so many incredible actors in it. The movie The Heat. It's unbelievable. And it's before they all became really big time. But anyway, Any Given Sunday, they talk about it's a game of inches. And you look at, that's what it is. Even for basketball, I know that movie was football, but you look at basketball, same thing. In Florida State, 6-2. And, they had a tough loss, at Wake Forest earlier. But besides that, in the Louisville game, every game came down to a possession. And Coach Hamilton talked about that yesterday, where a possession here, a possession there can change your whole fortunes. And that's same with us. We make the three against Wisconsin late. Michael DeVoe makes a three late against Louisville. We make the free throw. We grab the rebound against Miami, Ohio. The whole thing can change. But you could also say the same thing against Boston College and Georgia State and Georgia Southern and Georgia. I mean, it's such a fine line. And I think it could come down to this week again, where it becomes a fine line. And so we'll need to play really well. I'm a huge fan of Leonard Hamilton. He should be in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Both guys this week, Leonard Hamilton and Jim Larinaga, both should be in the Basketball Hall of Fame. What they've done, it's been incredible for their programs. I think Florida State, they've just gotten better and better and better. They got a lot of young guys, and every year they're just really good, and that's a credit to Coach Hamilton and his staff.
Okay, raise your hand in the chat, and we'll start going with some questions. And we're going to go first to Rod McKenzie. Go ahead, Rod.
Hey, Josh, Hamilton likes to make good use of his bench, uses his whole bench. Do you have to be aware of the matchups when he's subbing players in and out?
Well, Rod, I mean, he played, he's always played a lot of guys, so you've got to be aware, obviously, but and it's really awesome how he does it. And, we recruited, 3 guys from their team, well, really 4 guys, but 3, we all 4, we recruited hard. Caleb Mills, we recruited, And then obviously went to University of Houston first. We obviously recruited Matthew Cleveland, Matthew Cleveland's such a phenomenal young man, and his parents are awesome, great people. We recruited John Butler, great young man, awesome, and his parents are awesome. And we recruited, Wyatt, Wilkes. I knew his grandfather really well, and I didn't get to know his family as well, just like Caleb Bills. I didn't get his family, but I really got to know the Clevelands and the Butlers family really well. Just awesome people, and they're very successful. And obviously, playing for Coach Hamilton, they're going to be great players, and they are great players, and they got chances to be pros and early too. So that's what Coach Hamilton and their program does. But we just got to be aware of every time those guys come in, whoever starts, whoever comes off the bench. I mean, they're just a good basketball team, and they've gotten better. They got great young guys, and they're just a good basketball team.
Kelly Quinlan, go ahead, Kelly.
Josh, just, in terms of, it's been a hard, 10 games, 11 games, whatever it's been. And obviously not getting any easier, but if you can get through the next two games and at least split, I think that gives you some momentum. How important is it to try to get one of these games this week for your program to build some momentum?
Kelly, good question and good point. And before I even address that, I wonder, would it be a dream of yours to play with guitar in your background there with Paul McCartney and like Let It Be from the Beatles? Or, how good are the Beatles back in the day? And Paul McCartney is unbelievable. But, I could give you a couple other guys that I'm sure you like to play guitar with. I would love to play guitar with them, but you always sometimes think, could you be a musician? How would that be different? Being a musician would be really cool, I think. So I don't know if you play the guitar, but to be a musician, you've got to be really talented. Like when you see these people play the piano, like Elton John, you see how fast his fingers move and he's able to and sing. It's surreal. Like the talent people with piano or guitar or playing an instrument, it's fascinating. I'm so fascinated by, artists and people that can play instruments, and wow. But yes, Kelly, we've had a hard stretch of games. We need to win some games now. It's time, we've got to get, and it doesn't get any easier. But I will tell you about this in this league. People have criticized the ACC, and it's ridiculous. The ACC is a very good basketball league. Anyone that says differently, you're not speaking good about you don't understand basketball. This is one of the best leagues, if not the best in the country. And I know people are thinking analytics and numbers. No, people just think if Duke and North Carolina aren't dominating, then all of a sudden the league is down. That's crazy. The league, because of how good North Carolina and Duke has been, everyone has caught up. When I say caught up, meaning everyone in the league has continued to rise up to meet the challenge. The league is so good from 1 to 15. The parity in the league. It used to just be top heavy. Now the league is so good from top to bottom, the parity amongst everybody. And so, yes, we're playing first and second place this week, but the great news is we can win every time we step on the floor. Yes, can we also take L's every time we step on the floor because there's no margin for error for us? Yes, that can happen, but there's not such disparity around the league. Everyone is going after each other. It's an incredible league. I still think it's one, if not the best, it's one of the top 2 in the country for this year. And anyone that doesn't see it that way, I just think they don't understand. This is an incredible league, and the balance and the parity. And so but Kelly, we need to get some wins. We got to get some wins if we're going to start moving upward. Otherwise you're going to start putting yourself in a real hole because people are going to continue to beat up on each other. So we've got to start getting some wins. And it's not going to be easy this week, but we've got to fight like we're in desperation mode, and our basketball lives are dependent on it.
Back to Rod McKenzie. Go ahead, Rod.
Hey, Josh, when you go back and look at the film from the Clayton Dick game, do you look at it and say, hey, this guy really has come a long way from when he first got here, that type of thing? Maybe I should give them more minutes, that type of thing?
Well, I mean, look, I thought everyone played well in that game, and I was really happy to see Jalen Moore. I thought he did a lot of good, and he's going to be a really good player. So I'm excited about Jalen. And Rod, you look like if you and I started a band, you could be the lead singer or you'd be the drummer, and I would be, you know, I played the trumpet in sixth grade. I would need to get lessons again, but I would love to do the piano with you.
I have a great voice in the shower.
Yeah, but hey, we could do the song. Not Elton, not gosh, it just slipped my mind. What's the song what the guy talks about in the bar? What's the guy?
Piano Man.
Piano Man. I would love to do Piano Man with you, Rod. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
Ken, you're up.
I just had a question about music. I confess it's only gonna be about basketball. I feel like I'm not contributing to the
That's
conversation.
okay. We can talk music offline, Ken.
All right, sounds good. Michael was saying before how he's been trying to speed up his shot, and I'm curious, is there, I mean, I would think that there's kind of a risk inherent in tinkering with someone's shot like that. Like, how do you help him speed it up without, making sure that he's not, that his form and technique is going to stay the same?
Yeah, Ken, I mean, look, it was good for Michael to make those threes last game. I think it was important for him to see the ball go through the hoop. I mean, he's a great shooter. He's a great player. And the more, and we've talked about it, he's got to be able to, I want to I told him, let it fly, shoot it, fire it. When he's got airspace and there's a long closeout, he's got to let it go. And so he knows he's got the green light. I mean, and when he's open, sometimes he fakes it. He doesn't need to. He just needs to shoot it. Because sometimes when he can get deeper, doesn't always mean better. He can get himself in a little trouble. When he's got space and he's got separation with his feet, he's got to let it go. But also, Ken, he's a big time player, and I want to, he's got to be, as a shooter too, he's got to feel comfortable. So if he doesn't feel his feet are set, but I would like for him to even shoot more threes when he's got that space. I just think he's got to let it go even more so than he has.
Okay, one more in the queue with Kelly Quinlan, and then we'll wrap it up.
In terms of shrinking your rotation, that's something you kind of talked about after the game. And I'm just kind of curious where you're at in terms of like who's going to be in the rotation, kind of what that looks like. Even the starting five's been probably the most variety of guys you've had since you've been here. Just kind of what is that looking like? Do you have a number in your head that you're shooting for on Wednesday?
I got to see how practice goes today, but obviously in the past, not this year, I've played a lot of guys, a lot of different rotations, a lot of different lineups. I've been searching, trying to find what's best for our team, Kelly. I think I want to see how practice goes today. And sometimes I'm just a feel guy, and I'll get a feel on that tomorrow. But in this stretch run, we've got to figure out as we go forward on what's best. And it doesn't mean that other guys, everyone's deserving to play. It's what's best for the team, the best way to find a way to win, to give us our best chance to be successful. And that's something that I've got to figure out. Is it playing less? That doesn't mean the guys I play they're the same guys every game. It could go in and out, but instead of trying to play 9 or 10, is it better just to keep it shorter? I just got to, see how the game goes, see how the flow goes, foul issues, all those type of things.
I think that's all we got, Coach. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Hey, Kelly, what about the